Okay, hello everyone. This is the APM weekly meeting. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. I think first thing on the agenda is talking about 12.6 planning.
Yeah, we can either do that or we can go discuss the issues because I don't want it to take the entire time. I mean, whatever you think makes more sense.
Sure. Should we maybe walk through the board at the end of the meeting and that work better? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So then let's jump into this other issue. I can bring it up here too if we need to. All right, so Dovia, that next issue, try to.
Yeah, the next one is an issue. I don't want to. Also, I don't want us to spend the time reading through the issue.
Okay.
Oh no, not that.
Is it this one?
So there was another one discuss offline.
Oh yeah, this one, the query Prometheus.
Yeah. So this issue, I was trying to follow it, and it turned into seems like multiple things that are happening and multiple issues. So what I'm asking for, Matt, basically, is either you can assign someone, maybe you can go through it, and maybe I was thinking maybe we should close this issue and open another one with a link to it to explain exactly what is needed. Originally, I wanted to put it in 12.6, but I'm not sure that we have the right strategy on how to proceed, because there are some options, and then there was another option, and then, I mean, if you read through it,
yep.
And I don't want to spend the time in this meeting just going through it. We can do it offline. David, I saw that you were also part of this. I think it was this one or the other one. Anyway, what I'm saying is let's take this specifically offline and either write a summary or maybe create another one and then consider putting the 12.6 if it makes sense.
Okay. Yep, I will look into that one. All right.
Thank you.
All right, and then there's this other.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, there is another issue. I think it's similar. Basically, similar ask. Let's discuss this offline again. I don't want to read through all of it. Because it also followed the same pattern of starting something and then something else happened and then suddenly we stop working on it and I don't have the context.
Okay.
So it will be very helpful. Both those two, maybe we will add them to 12.6 if it makes sense.
Okay. Good. All right, so I'll go to that one too. Okay. So those are those. Then we can, at the end, we can go through issue board.
12.6. Yeah.
Okay, for 12.6. All right. Then there's this other issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, this one's kind of next on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I saw that Emilia. So I'll give some. Miguel is not here, right? So basically, we are introducing a new tab underneath operation, which is called Padlocks. And in this tab, we are going to present the logs that we will be pulling out from Elasticsearch, and also the logs that we have today from kubectl. Today, in order to access the logs, the user will need to go to the environment tab, and then he will need to look at the environment and then click on a specific pod, and only then he'll be able to see the log. By the way, I was looking at the Periscope data, and the amount of users that are actually going into that is extremely low. So I suspect that one of the reasons it's very hard to go into there because you need to do a lot of clicks until you reach the log. And I think it's a really good functionality. So first of all, putting a Padlock tab underneath operation will expose this functionality, and ideally, I'm hoping it will increase the amount of users. The thing that we need to discuss, and it is already here, so I mean, the discussion is happening on the thread. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of this discussion, and they can chime in the offline discussion as well, or we can talk about it in this meeting today, is that we want to present both options of presenting logs from kubectl directly from Kubernetes, or the logs that are coming from Elasticsearch. And basically what we are discussing in how to do that, how to enable the users to switch between those two, because I think it makes sense to consume logs from the same place. So that's the issue. We can talk about it offline, or we're talking about it right now, but I also want to make sure everyone is aware of it.
I have a quick question about the priority. So comparing logging, like this issue versus infrastructure dashboard, which one do you think is higher priority right now?
Logging.
Okay.
Logging is higher priority. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to add. Maybe I'll add it to the agenda. There is an issue that I opened about the 12.6 planning, and I specifically wrote there, and it's on me, I forgot to put it in the agenda. I specifically wrote that in this coming new iteration, we will be focusing on the logging part and Elasticsearch, so everything needs to be prioritized accordingly, because that we want to move logging into viable. We are at minimal today, so we want to make it viable. So everything about logs get priority, like higher priority. Okay, it doesn't mean that we need to stop everything that we are doing, but if you're asking about priority, this is plan.
Great. Okay. All right. Diraj, do you have? Is he on? Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you are.
I was not sure if this is the right time to talk on it, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
If anybody still has comments on that, maybe we should wait. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, yeah. Thanks for bringing this up. This was I opened this last week, I guess. Just one of the things that, as an engineering group, we're kind of going to be measured on is our throughput of how many MRs. That number, I don't know that these are related directly, but the number seems to be going down, and how long it takes to merge seems to be going up. So I opened this. Like I said, they might not be directly related, but one thing that we might be able to do to improve how long it takes to merge, which is just a general issue, is seeing how we can make the review time for an actual reviewer, if we can help reduce that or streamline that process. So there's been a lot of great comments in here. I was going to give it another day or so, and then maybe just summarize it all, and then see if we can have some action items that we can take. If there's specific things we can start with, just kind of iterate over the process. But I'm super happy and grateful for everyone that has taken, some time to really think about this and what's possible causes and other things that are kind of slowing us down on this. I know I had some ideas, but I was glad to see that other people had chimed in here. So I think let's not dig into it too much right now, if that's all right, Diraj. But maybe next week at our meeting, we can kind of circle back if that would give everyone a few days to at least kind of think about it and add their comments. And then I'll try to come up with some summary or some action items that we can talk about next time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you so much. Yeah. Just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention.
Okay, great. All right. Kirsty, you have the next one?
Yeah, so this issue is about generating fake data for Prometheus or test data.
Yeah.
And looking into this, it doesn't seem like there's a way to easily send fake data to Prometheus and have it generate metrics based on that. So we'd have to instead basically fake out our metrics endpoints and with some pre-populated data. And so we need a way to generate some fake data. And I listed out on the issue a way that we could do that by having like a script that we could run against a live cluster that had at least 7 days of data so that we could mimic those preset intervals that we have. And then save that data file somewhere. And then when you want to load it, switch out those live Prometheus metrics endpoints with the fake data. So my question is, this doesn't really seem to necessarily address the like intended users of like application developers and operations teams. Like this solution seems more directed towards like ourselves as developers. So I'm wondering, is that useful to development? Is this kind of what this issue is getting at? What do you think? Is that a viable MVC? Yeah.
To me personally, I think there are two aspects to this issue. One is to, as the epic says, to enhance metric dashboards testing. So this would be really useful for us in terms of having more concrete integration tests. And the second aspect to it is helping developers like ourselves to easily load data and quickly develop something. So yeah, I think it is definitely useful, and there are two perspectives to it. Depending on the solution, I guess it'll either be easy for writing more integration tests and stuff like that, or it could be easy for our day-to-day development to quickly get the monitoring dashboard populated and reduce the workflow or improve the workflow. I don't know, that was my take on it.
I think this was the intent. I think the intent was to mimic how the dashboard will look like in case Prometheus is sending data.
Is that
it's useful even for the users?
So do we think that is at least a good first pass at that? We'd only be able to generate this fake data off of a deployed Kubernetes cluster, and you'd want to run it against one that had been live probably for at least 7 days, so you could have metrics for 7 days. Yeah, so I'm happy to proceed along this path if we feel like this is worthwhile. And
I mean, so the end goal, the way I see it, is that we can easily set up an environment, and quickly we'll be able to see how the data would look like in case everything is populated, without the need to configure everything from scratch. And if this is what we will achieve, I think it is a successful project.
Okay.
When you say set up an environment, you say set up an environment as a GitLab developer or as a GitLab demo, or I mean this list, it says intended users in priority order is application developers, not GitLab developers. So, and I don't understand.
At the bottom.
Yeah, we're at the bottom, and demo is right above that. So, that's the question that Kirsty had earlier was, okay, this looks like it'll help GitLab developers, but maybe not help.
I think we can. I mean, there are 5 bullet points here. I think we can break it into 5 mini issues and say, okay, for now, let's hit the GitLab developer, and then we'll see how maybe in the next iteration we can evolve to a demo environment if it makes sense, and then we can take it further.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me. Then I think that's what I need. So, yeah, so if the team feels like basically what you'd get is somebody that has like a mature Kubernetes cluster that's been running for a few days, maybe could generate this one time off of their own, and then like they could pass that to other people on the team so that they could feed that into theirs and without having to set it up themselves. That's the idea of this solution that David helped me define here. So yeah, I'll move forward with this as long as like this meets the kind of needs of an MVC for this issue.
Cool, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So
Thanks.
one quick question.
ahead.
So the priority for that is GitLab developers first, right?
The priority, the way I look at it, the priority for that is what is achievable and easiest to accomplish first. Okay, then we can start thinking about the next line, the next one, the next one. And originally, when Kenny opened this issue, he didn't thought that it will be something that will happen instantly. So if it makes sense to break it into iteration, then let's break it into iterations.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Next is this issue from Ruben.
So this issue showed up on a workflow board, a planning board, sorry. So I'm not sure, are we supposed to be working on it, or is the test team going to be working on it?
I think quality is the test team that need to work on it. I saw that there were some issues that appear on our planning board that had like quality, and I think not this specific issue, but there were several issues, and I specifically pinged the person that assigned the milestone. So yeah, I think it's a she. I think Ramya, and she told me. Let me see. She told me that they should work on that. But let me just. I chatted with her. I noticed this one, and what she told me is that they own those issues, not us.
Okay. And another point is that this issue seems to be a duplicate of one that the health team is currently working on. Creation of an integration test for setting an alert.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you commented on that.
Yeah, I'll put another comment asking if it's a duplicate. And anyway, let's see what they say.
All right, is there any way we can, I mean, if these are on our planning board, is there any way we can, I don't know, filter those out or indicate that it's, even though it has the APM label, it's not our team working on them? I don't know.
Yeah, by the way, I put in the chat what Ramya told me when I asked her who owns it.
Okay.
Oh, so we are supposed to provide input here, but not actually work on it.
Yeah, that's what she said. I was just pulling out the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So is there, I guess I'm a little confused. Is there still work that our team needs to do to provide input?
It seems to me like it's an exact duplicate of the other issue that the health team is working on.
Yeah.
I'll put a comment asking for clarification.
Okay. I think that'll be a good next step. Okay. Good, thank you. All right. Looks like Dove, you added this planning issue now.
Yeah, this is what I was adding. So this is the list of tasks that we need to do in order to plan 12.6, and I put a comment that logging, remove it from minimum to viable, need to happen by the end of the quarter. So basically in this release, as I mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, we'll be focusing on logging. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Does anyone have questions about this or more discussion? Okay. Do we want to start looking through the planning board then?
Yeah, let's go over the planning board. Let's see that things make sense to everyone. If we need to put a comment, if we need to take things offline, we can do that. But I want us to go over it at least one time.
Come on. Uh-oh.
Now, what
There
happened?
it is. Okay.
Okay. There were some issues in today in .com,
Yeah.
I don't know if you were aware. So the amount of issue, it's going, but I'm trying to reduce it as much as I can because I anticipate that a lot of the issues that were being worked on 12.5 will move to 12.6. So it's not the final number. Yeah, let's go over it. The first one is it's an investigation on, we spoke about it in one of the previous meetings, on how can we promote a Prometheus from one project that will be able to share it with another one. So it's just an investigation to see if that's possible.
Okay.
And by the way,
So
the
it
issues
just-
are not prioritized, so we will
Does
work
this
on the
mean it? So share Prometheus between two projects. Does that mean how does this is this something to do with sharing clusters or just sharing Prometheus, or because we can it can be shared between multiple projects now if it's a group level or instant level cluster, as long as you think about it ahead of time.
No, so if you read through the description, in case we set up Prometheus against a single project, and now you have a new project and you want to use the same Prometheus.
Okay.
Is there a way for us to do it? How to do it?
Right.
So maybe I need to change the.
Oh no, I think. So yeah, just a couple of weekends ago, I did much of the SQL associated with pulling out the cluster information, and so that I could then insert it into the project, because it's annoying. It's super annoying to have done what you're talking about, have it set up in one project, and then I need another cluster for a different project. So that's
the question is there. The question here is do we think that there is a way for us to make this task less painful or possible for our users?
I think we could. I mean, I think the first step would be just to copy all the database rows for the cluster over to point to another project and see if anything breaks, essentially. You know, I mean, it's probably just as easy as that. And both projects could then manage could install something. But if you wanted it to be able to, like in project one, if you shared this between project one and project two, and then in project one you installed Elasticsearch, would you want project two to automatically see that Elasticsearch had been installed? I mean, I know this says just Prometheus, but it's more along the lines of sharing clusters versus sharing individual apps. I think somebody else chip in but.
So you're talking about the way to do it not only for Prometheus. That's what you're.
It would be easier. I mean,
like to
just
share everything, like
share
all
the whole
apps?
cluster. Yeah, share the whole cluster between the two, versus just share one app in a cluster. Because the auto deploy or auto DevOps will automatically make an appropriately named namespace for deploying the app, so it won't overwrite anything that's already out there from an app standpoint. So, and the namespace for all of the apps for Prometheus and Ingress and Runner and all those are GitLab managed apps, so they should work. They should just work. There should be no danger of. So Runner would have to be dealt with somewhat separately, and but Prometheus, if the apps are annotated correctly, it would just automatically see the apps and start scraping them.
Okay.
And our auto DevOps now annotates the apps correctly. Bam.
So I suggest, okay,
Anyway,
I suggest, yeah, as I mentioned, let's not focus only on this one. I suggest that first of all, let's put this comment in the discussion, and maybe
sharing
we
the
will
cluster,
change.
sharing the cluster will be a lot
change,
easier. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll start with sharing the entire cluster. It makes sense. We need to think about it, but yeah.
Okay. I'll move on. All right, the next one around the button to create the self-monitoring project. I don't know if people have questions about this.
Yeah.
This is dependent on one that I think Ruben's working on right now. But this will be
It's
the
got
way. Sorry, what's that?
the dependent issue. It's been merged.
Oh, excellent. Yep. So do we have all the information we need on this then? Like it's assigned to Amelia right now. I don't know if there's additional UX that we need.
I added the workflow ready for development because I believe that I think we have a plan for moving forward, but if there are additional questions, I can leave myself as an assignee to answer any questions that come up.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Keep moving. Try to go a little faster through some of these. So the next one, investigate Elasticsearch chart settings. All right. Just people know what this one is. Anyone have questions? Okay, keep going. All right, there's this one.
Yeah, that's the front end. From what I understand, the backend work is done, and this is just a front end to support like multiple metrics alert. If you have in one chart multiple metrics like CPU1, CPU2, CPU3, you want to set alert on some of them or all of them. Should be able to do it from the UI. So this is the front end, and from what I understood, the backend work is done. There is a closed issue on 12.5.
Probably need a way to display the multiple alerts on the dash on the panel that they're attached to. I don't know if there's an indication of that, but right now there's just like one little bit of data on
there is an indicator that says like you have like 2 alerts, 3 alerts, like the amount of alerts.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's on the backend issue. I can find it. It's linking. If you scroll further down, you'll see the link. Like probably the last one. Probably the last one. Here, the close one 3 days ago that I added.
One thing, since we're building on this alerts button, the alerts button for some reason has been moved way over, and now when the modal opens up, it kind of opens up off screen. And I opened a bug, but I think it's not scheduled until like 12.7. But right now the modal I think is actually off screen on some of the charts, so we might want to prioritize fixing that bug since we're going to be working on.
Which one? Which one?
I'll find the.
You find it? Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the basically the alerts button has been moved over next.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you mean. But if you can, yeah, I think I know. Okay, we will make sense to prioritize it. Thanks.
Okay. Then good. The next one is about the log viewer.
Yeah. So eventually, this is what we want to achieve with Elasticsearch, like a simple log viewer to present the logs, so you can easily search. For now, just plain text. We can enhance it with to add filters and more, but I think for now, just like a simple text search for that.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
So is this this is our response to, this is our in-app response to Kibana type thing?
This is our way, yeah, this is our way to view logs. I won't say it's a Kibana thing. This is our way to view the logs that are in Elasticsearch.
Yeah, okay. In-app rather than like outside in a Kibana thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
We are not building Kibana.
Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to note one thing here. We currently limit the number of lines of logs that are shown to 500.
Isn't
He's talking
Why?
about Elasticsearch here, though. He's not talking about pulling from the pod.
No.
This is,
No, I'm talking about both. Both limit to 500 currently.
oh, okay. 500 result. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 500. Yeah, in Elasticsearch, 500 results. In Padlocks, 500 lines.
Okay.
So if we want to, ideally we want it to be like an infinite scroll.
Yeah.
How can we do that? So
It is possible in Elasticsearch. You can paginate, and in Padlocks also it is possible by setting an offset. So you can sort of, again, it's like pagination.
yeah.
It'll require backend and front-end work.
Okay, so that's a good thing.
We'll also need to come up with a new design because this design is no longer, it's super old and it has a lot of changes have happened since this design was created.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's add the limitation and the new design.
All right. Multiple containers for Padlocks.
Yes, this is for kubectl to add container. We added pod, environment, pods, now containers. Yeah.
This will require a new API and again backend and front-end work.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
I also I added this on the issue, but just flagging this here. Like right now, all of these drop downs are just kind of simple drop downs. They're not searchable drop downs at all. And so at some point, we're going to have to go back through and make all of these searchable drop downs. And I don't know if we can make this container one that we're adding right now a searchable drop down, or if we're going to have to go back through and make them all searchable drop down as part of a separate effort. But flagging that work hasn't been done, we'll probably need to either create an issue for it or schedule it or whatever.
Yeah, create an issue and link it and we'll assign it for one of
I think the reason we didn't make this
Okay.
searchable, sorry, I just want to bump in, it's because we don't have a front-end component quite yet. We have like a bunch of selects and we're kind of discussing which one we want to like use from now on. So as soon as we have like a response from the maintainers and the GitLab UI working group, we can just move ahead and use a searchable select box everywhere.
Okay. Good. All right. Add chart tooltips.
I can comment on this one because I was part of the discussion prior leaving for my vacation. Basically, there is some missing work on some of the charts about a specific design that Amelia did for this kind of charts, which is like 3 columns to display. I believe like most of the charts have them, but I think the column charts do not. So it's just a matter of implementing the missing feature on the column charts, and that should be it. The reason that Martin was assigned to this one is because he was going to take over while I was on vacation, but he's now on parental leave, so I guess I'll take back.
Okay, thanks. All right. Thanks for that. Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah,
I think
upgrade the Ruby client. So yeah, I mean, there are. If you scroll down, you will see that there is another issue that we hit today, which we mentioned. I think you put a comment. Go up a bit. Yeah. See, you mentioned it in the issue a month ago. So there's like two issues that we mentioned that if we'll upgrade the Ruby client.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one that we've been not sure how much. Oh yeah, and then there's this one too. Okay. Right. So this is one that Ben has been talking about for wanting to do or having our team do for a while.
Yeah, the question is who's going to do that. That's the something that I didn't pick up. I think Ben said that he started working on it. Maybe I'll ping Ben.
Okay.
And we'll see if we schedule it for the milestone, or maybe I'll put it on the backlog and he'll continue to do some work. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, which time do we have? Okay. This is the next one. Metrics dashboard displays incorrect state. Max reads. Oh, okay. It's a front end bug, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so from what I read is that if we time out, we don't show, like, we cannot connect to the Prometheus server. Okay, I guess we can take a look at that one.
I think that Kirsty has got Kirsty, your updating fix address, or at least gives the front end some information about Prometheus is busy right now. Hold on a second, right?
But yeah, so there is now a method available that exposes the current status of Prometheus.
Yes, so the status that you added would be useful for us, and that's a different issue. So if you create an alert or delete an alert and you reload the page because Prometheus is figuring out about the alerts, I guess, the UI shows incorrect state as if there was no cluster integration at all. So the backend fix that Kirsty added would be useful for that. This one that we're looking at is only UI bug, and I think we already have another issue open, and we had some conversations on that. So I think we can just close this as duplicate of that, and I can do that when I find that issue.
Just a note here, there is another potential issue. So due to the change to Sidekick workers, and now the Sidekick workers will probably take longer to complete, we might have to increase the retry limit on the Prometheus front end, because right now it's only 3 and that counts for like 30 seconds. So we probably need to make it like 2 minutes. I hope that makes sense.
It does, but yeah, I wonder if we should just start polling, but anyways, that's another discussion we should have on the ticket, I guess.
All right,
Matt,
so
you're
we can,
muted.
yep, we can follow up on this one. Is it a duplicate? This one might already be linked in here. I'm not sure if this is the one you're talking about, Duraj.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Okay. So if it really is a duplicate, that's one thing we can clean up, but there's also the problem of how long we should wait. Is that right, Ruben, that you're saying that if we only are retrying 3 times, it might only be 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
That might not be enough time.
Should we create a separate issue for that? Or?
We could probably add it as a comment because I'm looking at the code. I think it's 6 seconds. So we should probably increase the timeout.
There's actually another related issue. So when you normally, if you open this page and in 6 seconds, you're almost surely not going to get data. So you tend to refresh the page. Now the problem is when you open this page, it makes queries to Prometheus with the start time being your current system time, down to the second, actually down to the millisecond. So when you refresh the page, the start time changes, which means that you're not going to get a cache hit on the backend, which means you're basically making every request again.
Oh, that makes sense.
So if like you just keep refreshing.
That will make a sense in a new issue, and on this issue, we should just increase the timeout and try to
definitely.
To fix that piecemeal.
Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you, Ruben.
Yeah. All right. I think this is the next one.
Yeah, it's just removing a feature for every file.
Okay.
Yeah, this was from last one, from 12.5.
Yep. Okay. This sounds similar, somewhat related. Is this the one we were just looking at?
Yeah, this one I asked a question on it. I don't know if it's if we solve the other issue, will that solve this as well? I guess is the question I was asking.
Oh yeah. So right. So okay. So it appears stuck, but the real problem might be that there's some error or there's a failure. So if we just report the failure, right, then there's not much to do on this one. Is that the question you're asking, I guess?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So if we solve the other one because of the timeout, and then solve Ruben's issue where we're requesting a new time frame, so we're pretty much timing out again, I said we should be able to solve like the original issue. So it should be safe to close at least one just to clean up, and then try to solve all the issues altogether.
So this page, this metrics dashboard shows a lot of data. So it could, even if we solve all those issues, it could still take a long time to start displaying data. So maybe there's a different problem here that, we should show some feedback to the user that, it's happening, something is going on.
Yeah, definitely. Or at least try to add a skeleton loaders to the graphs.
Yeah, we haven't created those yet, but we could.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I got it. Okay. This is the next one. At some point we can't just,
It's about both
Yep.
those 2 or 3 are from the dog fooding project.
Okay.
So zoom and zoom and zoom, and if you're not going, you're basically stuck. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. This is the next one.
Yeah, Miguel, it's a backend, I think you mentioned. Not backend, or backstage.
It's more like a technical debt from what I can see, because we're not using a panel type component that we have for like the original dashboard component. So it's just a matter of using that component, since that's the one that like handles which type of graph it should be rendered. So it should be fairly straightforward, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skip the other one, Matt.
Okay. Done. Go to this one. Collect any metrics. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is weird. Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to take a look and see why this is happening. I don't have to read through it right now, but does anyone have thoughts or questions about this one right off the bat?
I've definitely seen GitLab metrics come out. I mean, our metrics come out from the ingress. I believe that ingress information is coming out, but I haven't read the whole thing.
Okay.
I'll look at it.
Might be some specific edge case or something that it doesn't work. So, all right. Oh, a limit to the number of environments.
Yeah, we know this issue, right?
Yeah. Just move on. We all know what this is. Okay. Use view UI. This is another feature flag, right?
I think it's a technical debt as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a feature flag.
Good. Okay. I know that was having those feature flags and getting them cleaned up will be very helpful. So we don't have all this code testing for everything, which makes everything a little more complicated. So that's good. All right, here's the next one. Error handling, invalid prompt QL.
Basically, the way we handle unsupported.
Yeah, I think we should just surface these errors on the UI in a better way.
Yep. Okay. Good. This one's a feature flag. So another one of those.
I'm working on this one already, so it might be removed by the time this release is over, I hope.
Okay, nice.
Cool.
And then, all right, so then this one was around Kibana.
Yeah, this is in case we would like to add Kibana to our release. So we'll need both issues. One, wait for Kibana to be ready, and the other to add the authentication for Kibana.
Yeah, so it's these two. Yeah.
Yeah. Next one is a bug. Is a bug about the dash drop down that the text is not clear. You see like the full path of the file. Next one is documentation. So we can skip that. The other one is around.
The next one. I think we talked about this.
Yeah, that's a UI bug.
Yes. It's something that we scheduled for 12.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Endpoint to copy, that kind of metrics YAML.
Yeah, this is like the way to update, and this is the way to customize the dashboard.
Okay, good. Right. I think we talked about that a little bit last time.
Okay. Those two you can skip. This is a problem validation. I don't know why they are in. They're in because I put the group APM, but it's not something that I'm working on.
Okay, and there's two more.
The last one is documentation. You can skip it. And
all right, so then
that one is drop-down box for metrics. Yeah, we talked about it. So I spent up a couple of issues around the infrastructure dashboard. You can see the epic. And This is probably the second priority after logging. There are multiple issues that will span across multiple iterations until it will be ready.
Okay, good. All right, so that's all the issues. We're out of time. I took a few notes. I'll try to update some of the issues with the agenda as I'll go through them. I don't want to do it real time. So yeah, thanks everyone. And we will talk shortly. Have a good rest of the day, however much is left for you. Bye.